Alright, sorry. I had to. I had casted the beginning of this, and then um, my mic wasn't working, so I have to go through it again. But anyway, just one more opportunity to get the beginning of this game cast once again, because hey, there's something I'd like to do more than cast something I've already casted, and it seems to be happening more and more because I have a new setup, of course, and it's proving a little bit temperamental. But anyway, we got Twisted Fusion here taking it on Team Shrek is Love. And Twisted Fusion, a team we've seen some of before. They were in the Han Tour Season 2 playoffs. They were in Cycle 10. They were in Diamond Division for at least a bit. And some team with a promise here. Although they are a bit of a new look team. Looky and Slot Please, I believe, are the only members that we have seen before. Douchebag Mac, Tassie, and Carex, I think, are all new. Although I don't know. Meanwhile, Team Shrek is Love. Demstrats, I don't know if he's a ringer or if he's a different name or if he's just a totally different player. But I don't think we've seen him play for Ogre before. So we'll see how he works out and whether or not he's a tryout, maybe he's an addition. I have no idea. It's hard to keep up with all the roster changes, especially that go on in the mid-tier round, as both of these teams are, back half top 10, maybe a little bit outside of that top 10 range. And good teams, but not quite in the top tier. Bans are out here. Rhapsody and Puppet Master get removed, as that makes plenty of sense considering both of those heroes are obscenely strong and oft-picked in the current metagame. Kronos and Balfagor are being removed by Clockmuck over there. Kronos making plenty of sense, of course, and Balfagor is a bit of an interesting pick. Twisted Fusion is a bit notorious for running Balfagor. Slot Please, I believe, is their Balf player, and they played him in the Han Tour Season 2 finals, I think, and did surprisingly well with him. A team that really wasn't supposed to do too much in that event, and I believe advanced a little bit further than most people expected. And in part, I believe, winning one game against a top-tier team thanks to that Balfour pick. So I don't know if Clockmuck is banning that out specifically because he doesn't know too much about this team. He's like, all right, well, whatever, we'll ban Balfour, or what the case is there, but that would make sense to me. Meanwhile, Legion side so far picking up Drunken Master and Solstice. So running the Jungle Solstice here almost certainly, as I do believe this is a viable hero. I'm not sure if teams have figured out how to run him quite yet, as he doesn't seem to win very often. But he's got some potential. I mean, the versatility between the day-night thing and how you can use him then he farms well, he does fairly well in the jungle, he ganks pretty well, and his ultimate is a strong team fight ability, so if you can set it up, of course. So there's a lot of skill involved in setting that ultimate up, but if you can land it, then it does a ton. So we'll see how Solstice plays out here. They're going to follow that pickup with Wretched Hag, so lots of versatility in this lineup. Going to see Solstice in the jungle pretty much guaranteed, but both Drunken and Hag can be run in any of the three lanes, so difficult to predict Twisted Fusion's lineup right now. They also have a really nice balance of magical and physical damage here with Drunken Master and Hag both providing opposite ends of the spectrum. They've got AoE from Hag, single target from Drunken, some stuns, not too much push quite yet, and some decent team fight, so I like the Legion lineup quite a lot actually at this point. It's going to be difficult to predict what they're going to go for. They could go for... And they need obviously one support, but they could go for something in any of the other three roles, and it's going to be hard therefore for Clockmuck to ban out the options that remain for Twisted Fusion because there are so many. So well drafted so far here by the Legion side. Hellborn, meanwhile, are going to counter with Torture, Keeper of the Forest, and Dr. Repulsor, so a little bit more predictable, I think, in that, as we're probably going to see Torture and Doctor in that short lane. We could certainly see a tri-lane, so the second support option is definitely not out of the question. Could lend a Keeper of the Forest Suicide, or we could see Keeper of the Forest Jungle. I slightly prefer the latter option, because I do think Keeper is a very strong jungler and a bit underrated in that role. And we'll see if what they choose to do, but certainly could go for a Suicide here. They are probably looking for a mid hero, and then either... so then that's Suicide or second support, and then a mid hero, so depending on what Keeper does. Legion side, knowing that, bans out Tempest, Parasite, and Bubbles, so removing some jungle options here, assuming, I suppose, that Keeper's going in the Suicide role, which I think is a little unnecessary, and they may actually be trying to force Keeper into that jungle role, although I don't really know why. He's a bit of a passive jungle, obviously, but does farm fairly well, so I wouldn't say that, oh, we're going to force Keeper of the Forest to jungle, that's going to hurt them is really definitely true. It's possible, especially if you have a plan for dealing with it, but I certainly would not guarantee it. But that seems to be their strat here. And in the meantime, obviously the Bubbles banned by Slot Please, making plenty of sense, as that could fill both their Suicide or mid-roll. And that will do it for the Legion side. Hellborn, meanwhile, banning out Empath, Pestilence, and Rally. So taking a couple of mid-heroes out, as that makes a fair bit of sense, I think. Rally obviously could also Suicide. But they don't really need that mid-hero. Both Drunken and Hag could play that role, so a little interesting they target that. I think I probably would have gone focus on the supports, and that's why the Empath makes sense, because they really did need that hard support hero and had not picked it up yet. They will finish off their draft on the Legion side with Rampage and Andromeda. So Andro, not a huge fan of that, especially considering Witchlayer, Glacius, Master of Arms, Pyromancer, even Polywog Priest, all on the board. I'm not a huge fan of Andro. The range is an issue. She only has the one CC tool. Swap is obviously very nice, especially with the Keep the Forest route, the Kraken ultimate, but I don't think it's enough to justify her issues in the laning phase. If you want something to deal with that, I think there are some better options, especially if you're willing to sacrifice the laning phase. Polywog Priest is the one that comes to mind. I really do think that hero is extremely viable. He doesn't do very well in the laning phase, but the CC tools, especially against something like a Doctor Repulsor, would be obscenely valuable. And this Legion side doesn't have that much CC. They've got Rampage, which is nice, and they've got a couple stuns, but not a whole ton of it. The Rampage pick is, yeah. Obviously, we don't see this hero very often. I do think he's viable. I'm not sure he's viable, but there's definitely some potential there. He's one of those heroes that snowballs extremely hard, but if you stop him in the early game, get him under 250 GPM for a significant period of time, he just won't do anything. So it's going to depend heavily on how well he does in this early game to determine how impactful he's going to be. He's not a hero that recovers well. You know, Hag can recover. Kraken can recover. Drunken Master can recover. Even Solstice can recover to some extent. Doctor also can't recover. But Rampage just does not farm. So either he gets early good farm and he gets kills, or he doesn't, and everything is bad. So we'll see how this works out, but definitely a risky pick up there. Hellborn side are going to finish their draft off with Kraken and Magnus. I actually like both of those picks quite a lot, as the Kraken, of course, adds some versatility, could either be played in the mid or Suicide role. I did not turn auto skip pause on, so let's do that now. And Magnus, similarly, could be played in both roles. I do suspect we'll see Magnus in the mid and Kraken's the Suicide with Torturer and Doctor. Now, they're going to send a solo top Doctor. Okay, I don't like this. Looks like we're going to see a Kraken solo top, and this might... No, it's not going to be support Magnus because he's got a Hatchet. That's good. So this is definitely going to be Keeper Jungle, which is absolutely the correct decision. Torturer will be the hard support. Are they going to run a mana dual lane here? That could work, actually. And Legion side definitely would not expect it. They're sailing the Wretched Hag in the solo bottom, which makes plenty of sense. Looks like Solstice will be in the woods, and we're going to see a Suicide Drunken? Or Suicide Rampage? I don't know. Lanes from both sides are a bit difficult to call. And it seems pretty guaranteed we're going to see a Wretched Hag in the bottom lane. Keeper of the Forest is heading back. Doctor's going to head middle. And this is looking more and more like a Suicide Magnus here. Which, the more I think about it, especially considering, you know, I have God Vision, so I know that Hag's going to be a solo short laner. But I really like this dual lane option, the aggressive dual lane. I don't know what they're doing here. We've got a Hatchet. Oh, they're pulling. Okay, so Magnus is going to jungle. That's what's going to happen here. Magnus is going to pull the wave here into the woods, uses jungle. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Forest will be in the Suicide lane, and Doctor Repulsor is going to play middle. I like this strat most of the time, actually. Using a non-traditional jungler to use the opposing team's creeps and juggle with them. It's innovative, and I think it works quite well. We've seen it a couple of times before. The issue I have with it being used right now is you've got a Keeper of the Forest that can jungle. You could suicide the Kraken, run the Doctor solo short, and with a Rampage against, you don't even need Torturer. So you could mid Magmus and Torturer, and then all these creeps here, Kraken's going to miss them. Now, Magmus will get him, which is nice, but Keeper of the Forest can do just fine in the woods with his tree dogs, so you don't need to waste the possibility of stuff like, so Magmus just missed that CS, and that hurts him a fair bit, actually. And now he can't control the creeps, and they're going to go off to the side here, so this is not, I don't like this decision from Ogre. I understand why they did it, and it's definitely, I do think it is a viable strategy, but when you already have a hero that can jungle in Keeper of the Forest and multiple suicide options, so it's not like he's your only suicide, I don't know why you would do this. But I don't know, hey, it's a scrim, so maybe that's what their theory is. The Legion side, for their part, are doing some weird stuff with the Suicide Rampage, which I definitely did not see coming, and he's actually going to go for a kill here, but he's going to take a ton of damage, so that was terrible decision-making. Does drop a health pot here, so perhaps that was his theory. Let's go hurt myself a whole lot so I can use my health pot, and in the meantime, Torture off to the side here, taking a bunch of damage. Solstice will get the Bloodlust, though, so tries to do some damage there to Solstice with the Impalement, but not able to. Bottom lane Keeper of the Forest, of course, not doing super well here, as he's sitting at 158 gold per minute, getting harassed out fairly well by Hag, who's at 230 GPM. So in the short lane, not doing the best, but spending a lot of time, of course, harassing out this Keeper of the Forest, trying to make him use as much regen as possible. And as he's only sitting on that health potion, he's going to need to ferry himself out some more regen or a bottle. I would slightly prefer, I think, the bottle, but we'll see. Top lane, Kraken at 150 GPM, not doing super well. Will charge Rampage into the trees, and Magmus is here as well, so Ramp's going to be in a lot of trouble here. Will charge Magmus away, but that's not going to stop the Lob Surge. That goes down, and when we're auto-attack, we'll get the kill. So, Suicide Rampage here, not surprised that he's not doing particularly well. He is pretty tanky, but no, he's melee, and he's got no escape mechanism, really, so you don't see that too much. Meanwhile, middle lane, actually, chain reactions go down, and Dr. Pulsar could be in some trouble. A couple more auto attacks will finish him up. The Impalement's doing plenty of damage to Drunken Master, and he might be in some trouble. Stagger away is not going to stop the kill as Torture gets the last auto attack. Rampage is here as he ports in, but won't be able to do too much. So I hope they transition this and put Drunken Master in the top lane, because I think they need to address Rampage. He cannot sit at 160 GPM and expect to be a viable hero. It's just not a possibility. So I like the innovation here from the Legion side, as they're running a Suicide Rampage, or something we've never seen, and they're going to bring Drunken back middle. So I really don't like this decision making, really, from either side. It doesn't make any sense to me. I sort of see a theory on Rampage. Like I say, the positives, he's pretty tanky, and if he can get the levels up, he'd be good. He's got good laning presence with the whatchamacallit, the Horn Strike. Meanwhile, Charge going to go middle, and Dr. Repulsor's going to be able to get under his tower, though, so this might not be good. Yeah, they're going to break it. Magmus, in the meantime, going to take 2 stuns, and he will fall here, so that was a bad decision. As the stun rotation here from the Legion side, of course, when all those 3 heroes are grouped up, is very, very strong. So 2-2 hero kills, as things are relatively even. Top lane Kraken is level 5, as of course Rampage spent some time wandering around looking to set up ganks. And Legion have taken a slight golden experience lead at this point, largely because Solstice is sitting at 340 gold per minute. And I think he's going for Alchemist Bones. I think that's the right decision here as well, as he's already farming extremely well, of course. Will have them in about 300 gold. And getting an Alchemist Bones, at 6 minutes is really, really powerful, especially for a hero like Solstice that loves to have farm. Chain reactions go down middle, but Comet Sun reaction and the stagger away, and Drunken Master will be just fine. Sips that bottle. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Keeper of the Forest taking a lot of damage, puts the Nature Spell down, and he's going to have to be really careful about this. He's level 6 and has access to the root, of course, but no mana, so won't be able to finish off Hag here. Hag does have a bottle, but it's empty. So she's going to be looking for the Actually, middle lane, Dr. Repulsor getting dove a little bit here. Drops the bottle charges, though, and the opposite charges. They're going to look for the turn here. Chain Reaction's going to 2. Lava Surge hits nothing. They will be able to finish off Drunken Master with a little more impalement luck. No! He's going to get away, and now Torture's going to fall, which is... Oh, that's painful. Magma's still trying to chase down this Andromeda. Should be able to kill her, as the last auto attack is there. Andrew sticking yourself in a corner, really, a little bit. But that was some pretty risky plays there from the Hellborn side, and it almost paid off. They nearly got 2 kills, instead actually losing 2 heroes. And with Doctor here at 240 gold per minute, that's quite bad as well. He needs that farm. Kraken up top doing really pretty solidly. At 300 GPM, not that good, especially considering that Rampage hasn't been here for a lot of the game. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Solstice will drop the stun on to Keeper of the Forest. Has no mana for the Veil, and that will be a kill. So Looky picks up yet another kill. He doesn't go the Alchemist ones, actually goes for the Steam Boots. That's a little surprising, because he hadn't spent all that gold. Meanwhile, middle lane, Drunken gonna get some aggression, but he will be fine. And it's just he'd save up 1,600 gold and just buy Steam Boots. I don't know why you wouldn't buy, boots and other, or Gloves of the Swift, other build-up items in the meantime. Middle lane, actually, there's a kill onto Dr. Repulsor as the ultimate from Rampage helps, and Rampage gets the double tap. All of a sudden at 300 GPM, so he's starting to have a pretty serious impact. He's continually ganking this middle lane, and obviously before Doctor hits 6, very, very easy to gank, especially considering that both Andrew and Drunken Master have powerful single target stuns. Off to the side here, Magmus looking for an initiation. Kraken does have his ultimate, so there it's going to get dropped on top of Rampage, and he's going to be in some trouble. Gets charged into the woods, and he's going to try to run away here. Actually, the Might of the Herd doing a lot to stop things. He will pop a Health Potion, and he should be okay, as Magmus has no mana. Off to the side here, Torture looking for the cut-up, but not even going to be close to being able to get it. So that Mystic Vestments from Rampage, no doubt saving his life. And now I'm going to try to turn this into Kraken. Won't be super successful, obviously has no mana, so can't do too much, but getting some damage out. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Dust goes off onto Keeper, also takes the ultimate from Solstice, and the Summoner Scrim finish him off. Double damage rune on Hag, no doubt helping. So they pick up yet another kill onto the Suicide Keeper, and 8-3 hero kills in favor of the Legion side, so their non-traditional strats here are paying off pretty well. Although, like I said in the beginning, I really did not agree with the Legion's, or the Hellborn's laning decisions. Kraken getting a kill on Hag there. She did not have enough mana for Blink, apparently, and was sitting well behind a tower for some reason. Top lane Rampage in a lot of trouble. Magmus has a Lava Surge up in a couple of seconds. Should be able to hit this, as he's... Oh god, Rampage is fast. He really is. Steam Boots here, and Magmus just has regular boots, plus, of course, the Might of the Herd helping out quite a lot. One of the more underrated abilities in Han, I think, is, or Dota for that matter, is that move speed increase that both he and really Crypto Disciple have as well. Move speed, such an important and underrated statistic. Drop thing to release the Kraken and the Keeper ultimate here, and that's going to get a couple of kills. Solstice coming in here looking for some cleanup, and Kraken's going to be in some trouble. Charges away, but gets the Haunt down on him, and Rampage will help finish him off. Meanwhile, the Keeper of the Forest will put the dust, the Veil, but he gets dusted, and that's going to drop another Haunt. Solstice should be able to get a couple more auto attacks here that get the kill, and that's going to be a 2 for 2. Lava Surge coming in here from Magmus, trying to turn this onto Solstice, won't be able to do so though. And in fact, Magmus could be in some trouble here now as well. Chain Reactions hit 2 though, but the Summoner Scrim will finish him off. Torture going to be the next on the list. Buyback from Kraken coming in. They will kill Torture, but they're going to turn that around onto Rampage. Ends up being a 4 for 3 in total. as the Hellborn side also uses a buyback. Actually, Kraken here going to try to get another kill on Solstice and will do so. And all of a sudden, Russian Hag going to be in some trouble as well. So the buyback from Kraken, extremely good, as they end up picking off, I guess, all 5 heroes in exchange for 4 plus a buyback. So the response there from the Hellborn side, really, really nice. Obviously, the ulti synergy with Keeper and Kraken, very, very good. And it just does tons and tons of damage. So, relatively even game here so far, as we've got about 1,000 gold and 500 experience lead for the Legion side at this point in the game. That's really not very much at all. Rampage back down to 270 GPM, obviously keeping an eye on that can be very important. Meanwhile, Solstice can try to get the stun, or the slow actually on Keeper of the Forest, but he gets dusted once again, and he's going to be in a lot of trouble here. One more other attack should finish him off, and there it is. Wretched Hag picking up the kill yet again, so Kraken at 450 gold per minute for the Hellborn side, but the rest of the Legion is relatively well balanced considering Magma's Keeper not doing well at all, and Doctor's doing fine, but pretty much everybody in Legion side having a solid time. Rampage could definitely use a little bit more farm. Get himself a Bulwark. Shrunken Heads obviously going to be very high priority on this Legion team with the Kraken ultimate, the Keeper of the Forest ultimate, and the Magmus ultimate, all doing plenty of magic damage, and with the various methods of lockdown, of course, especially from Dr. Repulsor and Torture, and Magmus and Kraken for that matter. Shrunkens are going to be in high demand on the Legion side, and in pretty high demand on the Hellborn side too. A lot more physical damage than the Legion have, but or than the Hellborn have, with both Rampage and Drunken Master heavily physical. But of course, you've got Andro, you've got Solstice, you've got Wretched Hag, so wouldn't be surprised to see relatively early Shrunkens coming off the Hellborn as well. Rampage is going to jump in here, going to try to charge onto Dr. Repulsor. Instead, they're going to turn the focus onto Torture. He should die really easily, though. Release the Kraken, not doing too much, but they're going to get Andromeda in the meantime with a Lava Surge from Magmus, so it ends up being a 1-for-1 in terms of supports, and now they're going to try to turn this on to Rampage as well. If they can get the kill, it'll turn it in their favor. That ends up being a 2-for-1, so nice response there from the Hellborn side. Drunken Master here now, perhaps in a little bit of trouble. Repulsor is out of mana, though, so that will be enough. And I would say 1-for-1 and support for support would favor the Legion side because they force all those teleports, but with the second kill onto Rampage, and now possibly a mid-tower push, as it looks like they're going to get this tower kill, I think it's going to be pretty much in favor of the Hellborn side. Nope, nice ultimate from Solstice being channeled here, will hit all 4 heroes, and everything is dying. Keeper of the Forest, very defensive, trying to save everybody. They already have 2 kills, though, as both Magmus and Doctor fall, and Keeper of the Forest will fall in succession. Hag here going to try to chase down Kraken, probably won't be able, oh god, one more auto attack. Yep.
Yeah, I make this shit look easy.
Ends up being a fat cleanup there on the Legion side as they pick off 4 hero kills. And now they're going to return the aggression on their opposing team's tower, middle tower. Teleport's coming in here to support Torture a little bit, try to stop this, and Drunken could be in some trouble. Will stagger away and should be... Nope, Doctor going to jump in off to the side, looking for a jump onto Andromeda. If chain reaction set 2, bad decision making there, Drunken, as he tries to save his buddy, but this is probably going to result in him dying. Nope, picks the bottle up, one more will finish him, so Repulsor actually gets the kill and then dies, as does Torture, so all of a sudden that turns in favor of the Legion side. As they once again look for this, Rampage going to be able to get the ultimate onto Magmus, and that'll kill him. Maybe. Lava Surge? No. So on a Scrim. Yep. Kraken here also porting in. Will be able to deny the mid tower. But that's it. So all of a sudden, these fights keep turning around, man. And the Legion side have suddenly opened up a pretty significant advantage here. 6.5k gold, 7k experience. Before you know it, it's time for them to start pushing towers themselves. Not a huge amount of push, especially when compared to the Hellborn side, who have both Torture and Keeper of the Forest. So a little surprising, actually, at 15 minutes they've only taken 1 tower. Perhaps need to be a little bit more aggressive in their attempts to kill towers. For example, Keeper here backing off for mostly no reason. And I assume that's just because of the vision. They don't know what's coming, and they don't want to get caught out. Which I understand, but that's really well, then why you have vision? 15 minutes in, they should have more tower kills, really on both sides, than they do. Although Legion, really, they got mid and they got bottom. And considering they don't have that much push, it's not the worst in the world. But I feel like Hellborn should have at least 2, maybe even 3 towers at this point. 15 minutes in, you'd think Keeper plus Torturer would be rather aggressive and able to push down towards the towers. Wretched Hag, in the meanwhile, will go at it with Dr. Repulsor here. Let's see if Magmus can do anything. He's coming in off the side. Probably looking for a portal key, but only at 191 GPM, just not close to it. So that early on jungle strat from Magmus is not successful. And obviously portal key is such a vital item on Magmus. Every moment he does not have it is a pretty serious issue. Shrunken Head picked up on Wretched Hag, so no huge surprise there. She was actually first item Shrunken Head. At 470 gold per minute, I actually might have preferred the Grimoire early, as that would allow her to maintain, maybe even improve her farm. And she could get the Shrunken relatively quickly. Keeper the Forest is going to get jumped over here. Do they have Dust? Actually, no, they're just going to use the ultimate from Rampage, and that'll do it. So, the long-range stun initiation, too, from the Legion side is something I completely overlooked. Solstice and Rampage both have the ability to target stuns from a significant distance. And in the meantime, it looks like Legion side will be pushing this top lane. Looking to take some more map control. Obviously, Keeper the Forest being down. No, don't have to worry about that route. Kraken is available with his portal key. Going to draw yet another TP here, and they're going to have to run away. All of a sudden, Solstice getting caught out. Chain reactions and the charge go down. He's easily going to fall here. Drops the stun at a 3, actually, but I don't think that's going to be enough to save him. Nope, Bat Blast hits 3, and Magma's going to be in a lot of trouble here. In the meantime, though, both Solstice and Torturer fall. The rest of the Hellborn side is starting to fall here. At this point, Magma's already dead. Keeper the Forest route goes out onto 2. Rampage looking to turn this around, though, and Keeper's in some trouble. Gets stunned, gets the Sonar Scream kill. And this top lane tower is either going to die or be denied. Dr. Repulsor is going to have to be in some trouble here because he's relatively low on mana. Sipping the bottle, trying to get the hell out of there, but I don't think it's going to happen. Stuns are starting to come out. He's jumping past, but that's not going to be nearly enough. Does actually deny the tower, so that's nice, but obviously pays for it with his life. Ends up being a 4-for-1 plus a tower in favor of the Legion side as they expand their golden experience lead. Wretched Hag will port bottom to deal with this, and they're going to put a little bit of pressure here on this top lane, but probably won't be able to do too much. And in fact, are going to back off as most of the respawns from the Legion side, or Hellborn side, excuse me, are coming back. Torture actually going to, sorry, not Torture, Kraken going to find Mr. Drunken Master off to the side, and also potentially Andromeda. You're in some trouble, buddy. Kraken ultimate not available. Also going to draw a port here, so Andro might actually be okay. Charge not going to connect, and Andro is going to turn this around. Drops these Aurora there. Kraken going to portal key away, trying to live. It's not going to happen. Hasted Rampage and a stun from Solstice. Chain reactions will stop the Solstice stun, but Rampage is still here, and he's going to turn his focus onto Torture, but that might be a bad idea. Lava Surge goes down, and Rampage is going to pay for this. We'll see if they can actually get a kill here. Solstice using the ultimate, trying to get it, but that's not going to happen. And all of a sudden, Solstice will also get pushed on, so that chase, man, lasted way, way too long. It did draw a couple of ports, which is nice, but obviously losing the Solstice ultimate and losing both Solstice and Rampage in a futile attempt to kill a Torture. Originally a Kraken, but then eventually a Torture. Once they realized they weren't going to get Kraken, they really should have just backed off, but obviously, hindsight, easy to say that. And not the biggest deal in the world, they're still pretty far ahead here. And have somewhat hemmed their opponents in, sitting them on the other side of the map. Wretched Hag still farming extremely well here. Looks like she's going for the second item Grimoire. And she's picked up a Neophyte's book. Drunken Master also working on his Shrunken Head, as is Rampage and Solstice. So, like I said before, and not a huge surprise here, everybody is going Shrunken Head on this Legion side. I'm sure Andromeda would too if she had anywhere close to the amount of gold needed to get it. Doctor off to the side, cleaning up some neutrals. And Keeper of the Forest farming Ancients with his tree dogs. Hellborn items, meanwhile, Kraken has picked up a Soul's Bulwark on top of his Mystic Vestments and Portal Key. So, going to be a bit offensive there. Regen Rune is popped, and they're going to look for a jump onto Rampage. Release the Kraken gets dropped, and that's going to be an easy kill. So the gank potential from the Legion's side obviously coming into a play pretty effectively there, as Kraken maintains his 450 gold per minute. And Doctor's certainly sitting at 330, so the best farm for him. That's only 1,000 gold saved up. Does he have an item? He must. Oh, that's his pickled brain. So I don't know what he's going for here, but I cannot. I guess he's got a Ring of Sorcery on top of Steam Boots and a bottle, and his farm isn't the greatest, so that's probably what is happening here. Up top, meanwhile, swap coming in onto Kraken, and Kraken's going to be in a lot of trouble here. Gets dropped, deny tower. That's a new pack. Ninja, please. Anyway, Icon of Goddess, there we go. I was wondering, like, Doctor seems like he should have a lot more farm than that. So, splits up the Ring of Sorcery, uses it to finish the Icon. Absolutely a good item, I think, considering all the fighting that's been going on recently. Getting a few charges on that Icon will be helping him out a lot in terms of the farm and his survivability, as well as his gank potential. Rampage will be charging Magnus here, but breaks it, as Magnus grabs the rune. Shrunken Head finished there onto Drunken Master. Presumably Sosa will be getting one about 20 gold. There it is. Hag actually going Puzzle Box. This is unique, I can definitely say. I suppose, and it's not a bad theory, they have a lot of AoE damage. They've got Kraken, they've got Keeper of the Forest, they have Magnus, they have Torture. So that's uncontrolled damage, and a big idea for dealing with that, and I believe this started with Moon Queen's, general glaives and her ultimate, the fact that she doesn't often control what she's hitting. If you put a Puzzle Box Mauler in the middle of that and it dies, that's a ton of damage that gets returned. So I assume that's part of the theory. I'm assuming that also Keeper of the Forest Invis, Magnus Invis, and Rune Control, a major part of the theory. Obviously, as Puzzle Box gives you true vision without having to buy Bound Eye or Dust or Rev Wards. Interesting. I can't say I would have picked Hag to get that. I probably would have focused on Rampage, although he would be fairly far away from it at this point. But it certainly fits the game situation. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Andro will get turned on as she just gets caught out by Kraken. Doesn't even have to use the ultimate there, just a little bit too much damage for her to handle. No surprise. Top lane, Lava Surge coming in on the top of the chain reaction. Hag gonna need to blink away here, drops the Shrunken Head, and will port away, so she'll be just fine. Trying to get the kill there, but not going to be successful. Rampage finishing in Shrunken, obviously, as does Solstice and Drunken. Everybody's got Shrunken here on the Legion side. And that's basically going to destroy maybe 75% of the Hellborn team's damage. They're going to have a couple of useless ults. Ultimate's getting channeled here as Solstice is going to drop it onto 2, but not a lot of follow-up there. Rampage is also charging in. He's going to get the early kill actually onto Keeper of the Forest, so that's not bad. I would have liked to see a few more ports come in, as that Solstice ultimate got close to being finished. Meanwhile, off the side here, Drunken Master is invisible, spots out Kraken. We'll see if they turn this on to anything. The rest of the Legion side grouping up, and they definitely see him here. Drunken going to drop this to stop the Portal Key, and he's going to be in some trouble. Charge goes down, but the Haunt's still there. They accidentally do a bunch of damage to a Magnus Illusion, as they drop Shrunken Heads and the... Oh, they actually didn't use the Rampage ultimate. It seemed like they did, but... Oh well. Bottom tower will be finished off here, as Andro is dropping some wards. Charge going down as well in the middle lane, presumably on one of these two heroes. We'll see. Another port coming in as well. I think it might be the Illusion Magnus. Nope, it's the real one. So, Rampage charging from all the way across the map, and we'll see how long this lasts. He's building up a lot of it. Plus 750 movement speed. Bring in the teacher there, so Abyssal Skull probably going to be coming out next for a ramp. Makes plenty of sense. Drunken Master Solstice obviously going to be able to take significant advantage of that, as well as the damage and armor auras for Hag and Andromeda. Stacking on top of Andro's damage aura, obviously very important. And the Hellborn are in a bit of a precarious position here. I think they were a little too passive early on.
Hellborn Tower.
They have such great team fight here, and instead of grouping up, they were really getting picked off a lot. They were solo farming a lot, and now the Legion side have 4 shrunken heads. So even if they do group up, I'm not sure it's going to be enough, because I think the team fight advantage might actually be in favor of the Legion side at this point. Meanwhile, middle lane Kraken potentially going to be in some trouble. Actually gets the charge off, but still gets stunned. Chain Reactions hit 2, but Release the Kraken also hits 2. Actually, Shrunken Heads are getting dropped all over the place. Kraken going to fall once again. Torturer perhaps in some trouble, but drawing a couple of ports here. Drunken's just jumping in with a Shrunken, draws another port. And here in this middle lane, they will dust out Keeper of the Forest, who drops the ultimate on top of the ultimate from Magnus, and that's going to do a ton of damage. Batblast is here, Solstice's ultimate as well, but the Legion side is falling like crazy. Drunken Master perhaps going to be the next to get picked off, and pretty much everybody on the Hellborn side is still alive. Kraken obviously buying back here, and we'll see if they can finish off Solstice. Will do so here. Ends up being a 4 for 2, 3? They never killed Keeper, did they? 4 for 2 plus a buyback. And that's going to turn into a push by the Hellborn side. So all of a sudden, a big team fight goes to their favor. The Legion side have no buyback except for on Drunken Master, and Hag obviously still alive. She needs to just go heal here and give up the secondary mid tower because it's not going to live. So they likely won't be able to get a base tower out of this, but that's a pretty big fight for them.
The Hellborn have destroyed a Legion tower.
And that should be their strategy at this point. They need to actually lose 1 or 2 heroes in order to get the Shrunken Heads baited out. Because so much of their damage is magical, and at least at this point, and it's going to depend really heavily on the Legion side Shrunkens being on cooldown. So they either need to bait them out and then drop a whole bunch of ultimates, or they need to get picked off and then drop a whole bunch of ultimates, which sounds counterintuitive, but I think they might actually be in a better position in a 4v5 where the Legion side has just 1 or 2 Shrunkens, as opposed to a 5v5 where Legion have all of their Shrunkens. Meanwhile, Abyssal Skull being worked on by Keeper of the Forest. Magnus has picked up his portal key at 250 GPM, so he's doing a little bit better. Charge going down as well on Keeper here. We'll see if he can actually do anything about this. Also gets the ultimate, and Keeper of the Forest gonna fall pretty quickly. Obviously not having his root back up, not the most critical addition to this lineup, and he didn't bait any Shrunkens though, so that's not particularly great. And that's the last tier 2 follows for the Hellborn side. Shrunken Head gonna be the next item here for Kraken, excuse me. And Hellflower gets picked up by Dr. Repulsor. Kongor is now going to be the focus for Legion side. Definitely the right decision, I think. If they can get a token onto probably Rampage here. As he's the initiator. Nope, it's going to be Hag. I can't really fault that decision. She is your best farmer. She's your carry. Makes sense to give it to her. Rampage and Solstice are both more of the let's charge in type heroes, so I think maybe a little bit better used on them, but whatever. Magnus off to the side won't get jumped, as the entire Legion side is moving as 1 essentially. So we'll see how long they choose to push, or how long they wait before they choose to push here with that token. But I would expect it'll happen relatively quickly. Ancient's being stacked here by Andro. And a double damage picked up by Wretched Hag, so that'll be nice for her. Can use it to take these Ancients down. I assume she's got Puzzle Box 3, yes. And now I expect she'll be working on a Sheepstick. Or a Hellflower for that Doctor. Portal Key picked up on Drunken Master. Interesting, not an item we see too often. I might have liked a little bit more damage. I think they have plenty of initiation potential. They have Rampage, they have Solstice, they have Wretched Hag. He doesn't. It's nice for him, I guess, to be able to get up in the fight with them as well and contribute to the jump. But I don't think he really needs to be there. He can be a secondary jump. If he went for the Shield Breaker, I think that would have been the right pickup there, just stacking physical damage. Because obviously, as the game progresses, the magical gets less and less important. And Hag still, you know, she's transitioning well, and she is the sort of hero that can also output a large amount of physical damage towards the end of the game. Rampage can break a charge there. But I feel like the Anti-Armor would have been really, really helpful here, especially because they have the Keeper of the Forest and Kraken, Magmus, generally tanky, strength-oriented heroes. Even Doctor's actually at 1900 health here at this point. Magmus not even all that tanky. He's sitting on int treads, that's why. Middle lane, as we will see the push start to come in from the Legion side. Obviously Hag with that token. 2.5 minutes left. Jump there from Magmus as he drops the Lava Surge under Wretched Hag, but Drunken's going to return with that as the Shrunkins are starting to go off on the Legion side. Magmus initially dies very quickly. Release the Kraken and the Keeper of the Forest ultimate getting on a ton as they all use their Shrunken heads. Hag going to get jumped out by Magmus, or by Andromeda. Magmus coming back in with the ultimate. Will burn Hag's token. The rest of the Hellborn side is falling relatively quickly. Opposite side, Dr. Repulsor does not have enough mana and he will die. Kraken, the last man standing, except for actually Magmus is still here alive as well. Lava Surge won't be able to finish off Solstice, but he might also be in some trouble. We'll see if they can finish this. Yep, Bat Blast was still available, and that gets the kill. So Magmus dies yet again, ends up being 5 kills. Solstice still at 30 health. Nice Insanitarius toggle. Oh, that was pretty. Magmus buying back once again. We'll finally get the kill here into Solstice, but gets dusted, and that's going to be another kill on him. And CC time.
Genocide.
Yep, there it is.
Defeat.
And that's the game. So,
destroyed.
Well played there to Legion side, as they had some non-traditional picks, some non-traditional lanes, but made it work very, very well. And really took advantage of the potential of their team to pick things off. The Hellborn, I think, significantly misplayed their lineup. They really didn't push as much as they should have. They really didn't group up as much as they should have. They had all these great teamfight ultimates, and instead they spent so much of their time by themselves. If they had been like, alright, it's 10, 12 minutes in, we're going to group up, and we're going to push, and we are going to teamfight before this opposing team gets shrunken heads, because there's nothing they can do about it at this point, that would have been an extremely different game, I feel like. But regardless, the Legion side does win. Twisted Fusion takes the Scrim series 1-0.